How good is this Surfliner set? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Dan Cortopassi. Today I'm reviewing an N-scale 8-unit Pacific Surfliner set from Kato. Kato offers these sets in several variations, including one with a locomotive and 3 cars, plus an additional 4-car add-on set. In addition to that, the sets are available in different combinations with DCC, lighting, and/or sound pre-installed. The prices of those sets are higher than the more basic version that I bought. Since there are so many options, I'm only going to cover the set that I bought, which includes a DCC-ready locomotive and 7 cars without interior lighting. The MSRP for this set is $420. I pre-ordered and paid $274.99 for my set at Train World. Since there are 8 models, we'll start the set at 800 possible points. The set comes in one of Kato's book-style cases and a cardboard sleeve. A foam cradle inside the case holds all the models. Be careful not to turn the case over when it's open, as there's nothing to keep the models from falling out. In addition to the models, there's a set of trip pins for the couplers if you want to use magnetic uncoupling. There's also a sheet of paper with a list of all the models, and a helpful diagram that has an example of how to assemble the models in a consist. It's worth noting that not all Surfliner trains have this exact makeup. The one Nicole and I caught in Carpinteria, California in 2023 only had 6 cars. The other side of the paper has instructions for the trip pins and how to take the shell off the locomotive. The set includes SC44 Charger Locomotive 2118, Pacific Business Class Car 6803 MacArthur Park, Amtrak Superliner 1 Coach 34095, Surfliner Coach 6400 Carpinteria Beach, Coach Cafe 6304 Coldwater Canyon, Coach 6410 Imperial Beach, repainted Superliner 1 Coach 34960 Sequoia Grove, and Cab Coach Baggage 6904 Point Sur. This set doesn't include track or a power pack, so if you're just starting out and you need those things, you'll need to purchase them separately. This is a good case that should protect the models for storage and transport. Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner trains serve coastal communities in Southern California, operating primarily on the former Santa Fe Surf Line between San Diego and Los Angeles, and on the former Southern Pacific Coastline between Los Angeles and San Luis Obispo. The entire route is about 350 miles, though not all the trains operate over the entire distance. The trains operate in push-pull service, with a cab car on one end so that the train doesn't have to be turned when it makes its final stop and returns in the opposite direction. Surfliner trains have coach and business classes but do not offer sleeper service. Like the Capital Corridor and San Joaquin trains that serve northern and central California, the Pacific Surfliners are equipped primarily with Amtrak's California cars. The California cars are similar in appearance to Amtrak's Superliners. The most obvious difference is that the California cars have 2 sets of entrance doors on each side versus only one for a Superliner. In addition to car numbers, the California cars are named for various locations in the state. In recent years, Superliner cars have been added to Surfliner consists. Some have been repainted into the blue and silver Surfliner paint scheme, while some are still in Amtrak paint. The set includes an example of each. Siemens SC44 Charger locomotives, like the one included in the set, have been in service on the Surfliner since 2018. I compared the models to photos of the real Surfliner trains, and as far as I can tell, the models are accurate. The one thing I noticed is that the locomotive is missing the California state flag and Caltrans graphics on the rear. I feel like this is a miss on an otherwise gorgeously painted set, so I'm taking 5 points. The paint on the models is thin and opaque, and the markings are crisp and free of voids. Most of the small writing is legible with magnification. The grille details on the engine are very nicely done. I really like the see-through areas on the sides of the unit, a characteristic of the real Charger locomotives. Most of the details are molded on, but very well done. The cars have flush-fitting windows with nice gasket detail. In front, the locomotive has nicely done molded-on windshield wipers, a San Diego destination board, and a plow pilot. In back, the locomotive has Amtrak markings, a platform step under the door, and separately applied hoses. Detail on the ends of the cars is fairly sparse, with non-functioning marker lights and molded-on grab irons. The cab car has all the lights present on the real cars, nice horn detail, and a pilot. On top, the locomotive has non-functional beacons and a detailed recessed AC unit. The horn casting is a separately applied part. Most of the other detail on top of the engine is molded into the shell. The fans are especially well done, looking almost like separate parts under see-through grills. In back, the engine has the raised fairing that helps to streamline the train when coupled to the taller California cars. The California cars have corrugated roofs, while the tops of the Superliner cars are smooth. The cab car also has an antenna. Underneath, the locomotive has enough detail to make it look good when it's on the track. All the axles are powered and all the wheels pick up current. The fuel tank is designed to hold a speaker if you want to add sound. Detail under the cars is minimal. Most of the cars have truck-mounted Kato knuckle couplers. The one exception is the cab car, which has a body-mounted coupler on the cab end. All of the wheels are set up for electrical pickup if you want to add Kato's optional lighting kits. As I mentioned, all the models have Kato knuckle couplers. Since there are so many models, I'm going to summarize the coupler height test. Both couplers on the locomotive were low. 4 of the cars had couplers at the correct height. 2 of the cars had 2 low couplers, and 1 car had 1 low coupler and 1 correct coupler. At 5 points per coupler, that comes to a total deduction of 35 points. Despite that, in my experience, Kato couplers seem to stay coupled pretty well when coupled to each other. They don't play as well with Microtrain's couplers. I suspect many modelers will operate this train as a unit and not be so concerned with it coupling to other things. All the wheels and all the models are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. None of the models has any significant body wobble. The locomotive weighs 4.4 ounces. The California cars were all about 1.5 ounces. The cab car was slightly heavier at 1.6, and the 2 Surfliners were a little lighter at 1.3. All of these are close to the NMRA recommended weight of about 1.4 ounces for cars of this length. The locomotive's drawbar pull peaked at 0.7 ounces on my force gauge. The cars are free rolling. I'm testing the models on DC power. The front lights on the locomotive come on as the throttle is advanced. The rear headlight on the locomotive doesn't come on in reverse. Instead, the red marker lights on the front light up. Similarly, the headlights on the cab car are on when it's leading, and the markers light up when it's trailing. The number boards are lit in both directions. As you'd expect from Kato, the locomotive runs very smoothly and quietly. I couldn't find a recommended minimum radius for this set. Just for fun, I decided to try it on some Kato 216mm curves, which are an approximate 8.5-inch radius. The cars stayed on the track at the low speeds I'm capable of doing on my workbench. For reliable operation, I'd recommend using broader curves for long cars like these. The instructions say to spread the sides of the locomotive to remove the shell from the frame. However, you have to be careful because the sill stays with the chassis. I had to use a small flat-bladed screwdriver to wedge one side open from the inside. Then, holding that with a fingernail, I had to spread the other side in the same way. It took a few tries, but I was finally able to get the shell to come off. Inside, the model has a light board on top. This can be replaced with a DCC decoder if you want to convert the engine to DCC. There's a recess in the rear of the engine for an optional engine compartment light board. The light on these Charger locomotives can be seen through the clear areas on the sides. The interior grille detail is also more visible with the shell off. I found that the rear hose details tend to fall off easily. They're a press fit and can be reinstalled with some needle nose pliers. The cars are easier to take apart. Just spread the sides and lift the shell. Kato sells lighting kits for the cars if you want to light the interiors. Kato also offers DCC decoders if you want to control the lights with DCC. The cab car has a removable door on the underside. From what I read on the Kato website, this is where you can install an FL12 DCC lighting decoder available direct from Kato. I really like this set a lot. I don't really need it, but I really like it. Nicole and I have spent some time on the Southern California coast doing some rail fanning, and we've seen trains like this, a few times, and it's just neat. The Coast Starlight runs down there too, and it's kind of a cool place to catch passenger trains, really pretty scenery and all that. So, when I saw this set, I just really wanted to get one. I think Kato did a really nice job on it, and it's kind of cool that they're offering it in so many different versions so that if you want to pay the extra fare and get it with lights or DCC and sound already installed, you have that option. Let's see what we've got. The engine was missing some markings, so I took 5 points in the prototype accuracy category. Some of the models had low couplers, so I took 35 points in the standards and operation category. That leaves us with 760 out of 800 possible points, which averages to 95 out of 100. This set gets an A. It's definitely earned a green signal. I think Kato did a really nice job on this locomotive and the rest of the set as well. If you're looking for an N-scale Surfliner, then I think you might like it. If you like this video, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.